guys, what is it really like to live in Dubai? Today we're going to be talking you through every single section, whether it be cost of living, whether it be policies and police and law, whether it be what it's like to work out here, what it's like to go to gyms out here, how expensive the food is, what you can expect from property. So kicking this off in my apartment at the moment, we've got the marina behind us. One of my goals in life is I always want to live by the sea, and a lot of people back home say to me, George, why would you want to live in Dubai? There's no nature, there's no greenery, there's no grass. Completely get that. And I think, you know, with heading back to England, of course, you've got the countryside and it is beautiful. However, one thing that a lot of people forget about with Dubai is just how the whole city is essentially built on the beach. Don't get me wrong, when you go that way, it is quite built up. The air quality can be quite poor. This is going to sound a little bit disgusting, but I think if you were just always over this side, not over this side, you could almost get like quite blocked up. And apparently, one feedback that I have had from some people is that their white blood count can drop a little bit if you do that. However, if you're constantly indoors and you're not going in the fucking sun, of course you're going to feel that way. So for those of you that don't know much about Dubai, this is the marina. Just down here, this is why I've got this apartment. So just down this side, we've got the marina mall. We've got our swimming pool here. We've got gyms kind of pretty much lining this, and then behind where the camera is as well. And the reason I love this area and the reason I love Dubai, and this is probably one of the first things that I'll mention, is just the convenience of everything. The best way to understand what it's really like to live in Dubai is it's basically set up as a business, aka every single thing out here is just convenient as hell, whether it be the food, whether it be grabbing coffee, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be, you know, getting an Uber or anything. Everything is just like super fast, super easy, super convenient. And it's funny because people who I know who've been living in Dubai for a long period of time, they come back to England and everything in England feels like an inconvenience because everything here is so easy. So what I'm going to do, guys, is quickly run you through like what my morning has just looked like. We're going to head over to Oxygen Gym, we'll hit a little session, and I'll carry on breaking down all the different sections of it. So guys, I'm going to run you through a little bit of kind of like what a morning or what a day would look like for me. Now, do bear in mind that the calendar you're seeing on the screen right now, this is a little bit different just because the time zones have now shifted. So on my calendar, it looks like I start work at 9:30. I'll be honest, I'm one of them wankers who starts at 5:30 in the morning. I just like it. I don't think you have to start at 5:30 in the morning, but in my opinion, I think it just gets you ahead of the game. And the cool thing about Dubai as well is obviously at the moment they're 4 hours ahead. I think soon they're going to be 3 hours ahead, but you get a few hours on everything. And for me personally, and this is something I'm going to pass on to coaches, if you want to build your online fitness business, you need to be making sure you're taking as many hacks that you can get to get ahead of the game at the start of your day, because that's when you've got the most motivation, inspiration, and willpower. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll open their eyes, social media, Instagram, TikTok, just scrolling through a load of fucking bullshit. That is your most productive time of your day, and you need to fucking protect that shit. So to give an example of what I've been doing this morning, essentially we've been building out like a brand new offer for a program. So that's all done and dusted. I did that at 5:30 this morning. Then after that block, I've basically been kind of writing out all of my content. Now, in terms of what that would look like in a flow, realistically, if I skip ahead to kind of what we're doing at the moment, so I can kick that off at like 5:30, 6 in the morning. I've got marketing strategy for Q2. So realistically, that's just taking me about 1.5 hours to plan out 3 entire months of marketing. Then get a little walk in where I can kind of grab my coffee. Then setting up all of my staff for the day. Typically, I would have done this the night before. I'll be honest, I did fly in last night, so I'm feeling a little bit jet lagged. So I did that today, but usually that would be the night before. And then essentially, by the time we get through to this point, if I show you my WhatsApp, and yes, my clients do get my personal WhatsApp, you know, I've been able to send across messages to literally like half of my team. So I'm scrolling through here, like all clients that I've been speaking to this morning, and it's currently 10:30 in the morning here, and I've just got my first response back. So that just gives you a little bit of a highlight of if you are kind of thinking of moving to Dubai or living in Dubai, just how much more productive that you can get, because I've had absolutely zero interruptions until 10:30. So that's 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 5 hours of uninterrupted work. I can now go do my thing. I can go train. I can go to the beach. I can go sit by the pool. I can basically do me for a few hours now, wait for my clients to wake up and get back and everything else. And it just means, again, you can kind of just attack things, because living on this time zone, and this is something that I really love about Dubai, realistically right now, in terms of work that's going to move the business forward, we've done 1.5, 2.5. So we've done 2.5 hours of like business building tasks and about 1.5 hours of kind of client facing tasks, and they've just woken up. Go figure. So that's another thing that I really do love about Dubai, is obviously having that kind of time zone shift there. Now, one thing I would say, and this is something that I hear a lot of coaches say as well, is, you know, how do you actually manage calls of that? Because realistically, you know, if you are working with a lot of clients who kind of work a 9 to 5 and they want to be taking calls with you at like 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, this is when I think you have like a big personal choice to make. In my personal opinion, if it was me and I was kind of running into the same issues, all that I would do is I would probably either work on a Saturday or on a Sunday to specifically take those calls. And then what I would do is kind of one day during the week have a slightly slower day. Just because I feel like if you're starting early in the morning and you're jumping onto your laptop at like 5 o'clock in the morning, then you're taking kind of consultation calls at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, I don't think your sales performance is going to be as good. And something that I do, because I literally fucking track everything, and if I showed you this, I feel like I'd have to kill you because the information there is is so detailed. But because we track so many different areas and so much data from all areas of the business, I certainly noticed for myself that my closing rate for my own personal consultation calls massively drops off after 7 o'clock in the evening. So I know realistically, like my golden time of taking calls is usually just after lunch. So kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4 is like my golden time of calls, and then after that things do tend to drop off a little bit. So again, that's the kind of the morning routine that I would typically follow. Then that was another thing I was going to go into as well, and I may as well take you guys through here while we're doing this. It's just kind of talking through the food in Dubai. Now, the good thing about Dubai is that you can always get really good quality food. The food realistically, like you've got, I mean, if we kind of show you here, so I mean, realistically, we've just got the fucking basics here. So as you can see, fucking eggs, egg whites, spinach, watermelon, not a lot to it really, quite frankly. But if you want to actually order any food in, it's so fucking easy. You've got apps like Careem, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, whatever it may be, and they can get here pretty quick. You can pretty much get anything that you do need. In terms of the actual overall food quality in Dubai, that's something that we are going to be running through a little bit later. But if you do need to kind of grab anything, a lot of people think that the groceries here are very, very expensive. One thing I will say is if you want to get stuff that you're used to from the UK, so things like Evian, things like Phage, things like even like chocolate and stuff like that, I'm not going to lie, they can be insanely expensive. Like a pot of Phage, I'm pretty certain if you convert it to like Great British pounds, ends up being something like fucking £10 or £11 or something like that just for a pot of yogurt, which is mental. However, if you go for a lot more of the stuff that's based out here, I don't think it's too bad. Of course, one thing to bear in mind is right now we are technically, although the city centre is that way, this is, I guess, like like the marina being, in theory, feeling a bit like a city centre as well. So if you went to the bougie restaurants, if you went to, the Waitroses, if you went to, the more expensive supermarkets, of course it's going to cost you more money. However, I've got quite a few friends who are kind of based a little bit further out, maybe kind of like, 15, 20, 25 minutes from the beach, then of course it's going to get a lot cheaper. So I do think it does massively depend on kind of what you are looking for there. Fuck it. So, as much as what it's like to live in Dubai, as you guys may have seen from previous YouTubes that I've done, a few months ago I started TRT, right? So I'm currently on test. You probably just fucking saw it in my fridge. So we can do a completely separate video of what it's like being on test, because I feel like it's important for me to educate you guys of what that is like. For those of you that haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It's the Dubai vlog, and I can start talking about it a little bit. But realistically, I had the same test as a 5-year-old girl, which is fucked. But probably just from genetics, years of just like high stress or whatever. Try to fix it naturally. Did it for months, didn't work, and then right now, for the first time in my life, and I'm just being transparent with you all, started taking Clem, and I'm fucking shaking like a shitting dog, bro. It's crazy. I'm not someone who gets anxious, so thankfully it's been okay. But with Clem, one thing I would say is you want to be making sure you are fucking starting with small doses. Like, don't be whacking down like 80 micrograms or milligrams or whatever it is, which is going to be like 2 tabs. Start off just like a singular one, and obviously you can titrate up. But yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know that as it stands right now, we did that first video back in November, started TRT. That was, so November, December, January, February, we're now in March, so 5 months later. Did literally a little bit of a mini cut. Managed to pull off 12 pounds in 4 weeks, so like decent rate of loss. Literally just added in Claim for 4 weeks. That's me. As it stands right now, I'm about to start reversing back out again. So if you are kind of wondering about like what that's like, of course, please, for fuck's sake, don't just chuck things down your neck for the sake of it. Like, actually work with a professional, work with someone who knows what they're talking about, ensure that everything else is in a good place. What I certainly wouldn't do, if you're someone who gets anxious, if you're someone that has poor heart health, if you're someone that hasn't done their bloods and bloods are out of whack, if you're someone that isn't healthy, if you're someone that isn't looking after their recovery, please do not, like anything I've just said, don't take this. Oh, that means I'm going to go take it. Like, clenbuterol, this is only something that I took after like having a full blood panel by a company called Atlas Laboratories, literally the most detailed one you can get. And it was like, okay, you're able to do this. Let's now, test has been taken. Clenbuterol is going to help you with additional fat loss. In case you wanted to know, like essentially what it does, it raises your heart rate. So on a day-to-day basis, because your heart rate is raised, or for several hours, of course, it will have like a half-life. Typically, I believe it's around about 8 hours. Your heart rate, your heart rate is just going to jump up a touch. Now, in theory, what that would then equate to is across that period of time, you're going to be burning circa 200 to 300 additional calories during that day. Please note, because your heart rate is harder and you're working harder, this is something that a lot of people don't consider. There's also a likelihood that because you are working harder and burning more, you can afterwards create a little bit more fatigue, and you can afterwards create a little bit more hunger. So please do not just chuck this in there, eat whatever the fuck you want, do whatever the fuck you want, because all you're doing is you're putting your heart under a bit more of a strain, because it is. I'm not a fucking idiot. I know that that's putting the heart under a little bit more pressure, hence why it's only been done for 4 weeks. For what? For you to eat in a surplus and just be a twat. There's just no fucking point. So yeah, that's something that we have been doing as well. And again, I am going to do a future video breaking down exactly how that looks. One thing that I have learned actually so far about kind of like, testosterone and clenbuterol and just like drugs in general, which is pretty crazy. And we always keep it fucking raw on this channel and real with you guys, is just how many things that people take. It's insane. I'm certainly not going to name any names, but I've got a few friends of mine who are on about 14 things at the same time, which is fucking insane. And I remember I was taking tests and I was like, oh my God, I'm taking tests. Like, you do it properly, you do it well, you get bloods done, you look after your health, you eat well, you sleep well, you train hard, you recover properly, you look after your mental health. You do all the things you should be doing. You can make sure you do it in the safest way possible. There is no, safe use protocol, use protocol, bro. Like, no, you do it in the safest way that you possibly can. Starting low, titrating up, which is exactly what we're doing at the moment. But yeah, just thought I'd give you guys an update on that. Anyway, we better get to the gym because we're going to be late. So I'm getting a lift in the gym. Hi guys, the most asked question. Oh, moving to Dubai, bro, saving tax, bro. Let's talk about that. Do you actually save money? Now, in my personal opinion, we've done all the numbers on this, we've figured everything out. If you want to live a decent quality of life in Dubai, you want to be earning anywhere between £3,500 and £4,000 per month. Now, a lot of people think it's more than that. The reason they think it's more than that is because they're only comparing it to the most luxury places. Of course, if I was going to a gym like this every single day, which is £35 for a day, and bearing in mind, I think Banus might even be more than that. If I'm going to the most fancy restaurants, if I'm staying in the most expensive places, then of course you're going to spend a lot of money quite quickly. But in terms of like the overall cost of living, I've done the maths on this, right? For 2 people on a monthly basis for a food shop, it's probably going to cost you about £600, which realistically, when we did the maths on this, is only about an extra 50 quid on top of what you would be paying in England. Now, this is where tax comes into it, because if you're figuring out like cars and stuff like that, it's like, right, well, how much additionally am I going to be spending? So if you're moving over to Dubai and you're earning, say, like 3, 4, 5 grand a month, and your tax bracket is like 20%, then it's probably going to be like the exact same thing for you if you quantify it across, because the cost of living is 15 to 20% higher on average. It won't fall against the tax very well, if that makes sense. However, if you are earning a little bit more money, I'm just trying to figure out where the fuck to put this. There we go. However, if your tax is falling into like 30, 40%, whatever, then of course you are going to save like a lot more on that. Again, I always said I'll keep it like super fucking raw on this channel, so I'll just tell you guys everything because that's what I believe in. If I was to stay in the UK right now, per year, so every quarter my VAT in the UK would be about between like 5 to 8 grand. My tax each year would be between like 40 to 50 grand. So if you add all of that up, let's say it's like the higher end, including VAT, I'd probably be spending around I'd probably be paying out about 70 to 80 grand per year in tax with my own tax bracket, with what I'm earning. Now, if I shift over here, yes, the cost of living is 20% higher, so I'm going to be like mad conservative with that and be like, right, from that 80 grand, now all of a sudden that 80 grand would become like 60 grand from like the saving. You're still going to save 60 grand. So in my personal opinion, I don't think anyone should move just for tax. I think that's a terrible reason just to move for, because that's certainly not why I moved. I moved because I love Dubai, I've got lots of friends out here, I love the weather, I love the culture, I love how safe it is, I love how clean it is, I love how fucking, the access to things you can get are just incredible. But from that tax perspective, if you're 3, 4, 5, 6K per month, you're not going to benefit from tax. In my opinion, you're not going to benefit from tax. If you're a lot beyond that, so if you're a coach or a business owner watching this video, and you're kind of earning 100K a year plus, in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. I think if you're then in the bracket, because I've got like, you know, friends of mine and stuff like that, if you're like $250,000 plus a year, huge tax benefits. One thing to bear in mind, a 9% corporation tax has come in. I'm not a financial expert, so I'm not going to give you advice on this YouTube video today because I'll probably give you the wrong advice in terms of what I'm about to say next. But that you can mitigate that if you invest it wisely. Pensions, other areas. Pensions always a fucking great bet. If you're not investing in your pension every single month, you should be. But there are ways to mitigate that. But ultimately, to put it bluntly, 3 to 6, the same. But I mean, from my personal opinion, would you rather pay money to HMRC, or would you rather that money go towards something like this? I know what I think. But in terms of the tax benefit, those would be like the major things. So if you were kind of sat there and go, okay, George, well, how much money are you going to save personally then? Again, I'm just being straight up because that's what I do on the channel. I'm personally going to save from moving to this country about 50 to 60 grand per year, which is fucking insane. And it makes me wonder why the hell I didn't move sooner. Because there are many parts of the UK and England that I love, but in terms of overall quality of life, if I'm honest, this shit's all over it. I'll be straight up. So guys, if you're thinking of moving to Dubai and you want to know what it's like, you might be thinking about like the travel situation. What's it like with like trains and buses and cars and all this kind of shit. So over the last few years, the traffic in Dubai has got a lot worse. If you're trying to drive around downtown on the marina at peak times, it is fucking crazy. One thing I would say, I was born and raised in London. So the advice I'm about to give comparatively is different to what other people are going to tell you. I've heard a lot of people saying, oh my God, the driving's crazy. Why would you want to live in the marina? Why would you want to live in downtown? This is my personal opinion. I think that the traffic in London is worse. I honestly do. I think the traffic in London is worse. So because I'm used to that, it doesn't faze me. However, do expect, if you're going like right in the middle of the day, like I don't know, 1 o'clock, if you drive from the marinas to downtown, which are probably like two of like the big hubs in Dubai, that's probably going to take you about 20 minutes. If you do it at like 5, it's not even 5, I'd say like 6, 7, 8, because everyone's like staying up late here. If you do it that time of day, that's going to take you more like 40, 45. It's once taken me an hour to do that trip, so do bear that in mind. On the topic of that, of like things being later, there is definitely a massive culture here of people just staying up late. So like last night, for example, I went and met some friends. We started eating dinner at 8:30 at night, which is so late for me. We finished and like kind of head off about 10:30. At 10:30 at night on a Thursday, 10:30 at night, families, kids, people playing on the playground, cars everywhere. 10:30 at night on a Thursday, it's crazy, but that's what it's like here. And then I'm waking up like early hours in the morning, and a lot of the shops, not all of them, but a lot of them won't open until like sometimes 9 a.m, which for me is wild because like if you're working in the city in London, you can grab a coffee at 6 a.m. If you try and grab a coffee at 6 a.m. here, it's quite rare you're going to be able to do that because again, everyone is just working off of a slightly later clock. Like I'd say in England, the average time to eat dinner is maybe like 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I don't know this for certain, but I mean, from being here long enough, I feel like the average time to eat dinner here isn't like 6, it's probably closer to like 8 or 9, probably more like 9 if I'm honest with you, and that's the norm. So if you are considering it, do bear in mind as well that everyone does stay up a lot later. This is why I said at the start of the vlog that I love getting up early because not only do you gain like 3-4 hours on English time doing that, but here in particular, because of the culture, I actually feel like you gain a bonus hour because no one, like it's rare that people do that out here. So yeah, do bear that in mind. Another thing to say as well is that if you are considering moving to Dubai, or if you've kind of been looking like around different areas and stuff like that, you really want to understand like the vibe that you're looking for. Downtown is busy, hustle bustle, lots of stuff going on. If you're just like, right, I want to get my head down and fucking work, go there. One thing I will say though, trying to go to the mall at night is a myth. It's crazy, it's so crazy, it can be quite overwhelming. So if you're someone who doesn't like big crowds, then I probably wouldn't live in downtown. But if you are someone who likes things being busy and you're used to the city, then, so on paper, that would actually be good for me. However, although I've been used to living in the city, I quite like the countryside, so downtown probably wasn't for me. Marina, I think is beautiful. It's absolutely incredible. The only downside to Marina is, I think it's quite touristy, can be quite touristy, but at the end of the day, if you're used to places like London, London's like one of the tourist capitals of the world, so that doesn't really faze me at all, because technically I'm a tourist, because, do you know what I mean? So I think Marina, for me, it's, you can walk around to JBR, which is like a big like hub, like a beach, so it's like easy to get to there. I personally think it's not that hard to drive in and out of, except for peak times. Peak times there is crazy, so avoid that. What I'd also say is, especially like where I'm living, you've got supermarkets right there, restaurants right there, gyms right there, like it's really easy to get around it. And also a lot of people around the marina will like rent a scooter, and what they'll do is they'll just kind of whiz up and down on the scooter. It's like really, really easy to get about. And I also find that from that kind of central location, it's about 20 minutes to Jumeirah, which is like another like quite a nice area of like beachfront stuff. It's about 10-15 minutes to the Palm, which is like beautiful. And again, it's about 20-30 minutes to downtown. So I think Marina, for me, has a lot of benefits to it. What I will say though, from a lot of my friends who have lived in Marina, who have lived here like way before me, a lot of people live there for 1 to 2 years and they're out. The reason they live there for 1 to 2 years and they're out is similar to downtown, it's becoming busier and it's becoming a bit more like there's more stuff going on. So for that reason, what a lot of people are starting to like shift away into like JVC or JLT, probably more JVC, Dubai Hills, got a friend who lives in Arabian Ranches, and you know, these areas offer a slightly like cheaper accommodation. It's, you know, realistically, instead of paying like 2.5 grand a month for rent or 3 grand a month rent or whatever it may be, you're looking at more like 1.5, which if you're like me and you're from the surrounding areas of London, actually, in my opinion, is extremely cheap. It's funny actually, because I know people who live in Essex who, you know, for them, if they're paying like between £1,000 to £1,500 rent a month, that's expensive. I'm used to looking at a shed and a shed costing 2.5 grand, you know. That's the call to prayer, so I'm going to shut the fuck up and train. Address the elephant in the room. I sat out in the sun yesterday. I was very jet lagged. Fell asleep for 2 hours, and I probably got the most sunburnt I've ever got in my entire life. I don't know if you noticed that earlier, bro. I'm so fucking red and so badly sunburnt. I don't know if you probably can't even really tell. I don't know if like just how fucking red I am. It's bad, man. It's really bad. Don't do that. I was told by, okay, right, another random thing. One of my friends who's lived here for 2 years told me that where Dubai is in the world, you don't really get much UV. So, oh, you don't need sun cream. You won't get burnt. You fucking will. Like, it's so. Another random like fact about Dubai. In England, we used to, in the winter, the sun will set at like 3 p.m. and in the summer, the sun will set at like 9:30. So for us in July, we're like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. Sun's out till 9 o'clock at night. We're out for dinner and we're driving home in the sunset and it's amazing. Here, it doesn't change that much because we're a lot closer to the equator. So closer to the equator you are, the more consistent it is. So like, depending on what time of year you come, the sun will only move by like an hour. So like pretty much every day, I don't know, like 6-ish, roughly 6-ish, it will set. I've had the same thing in Turkey actually. I went to Turkey once and it was like peak summertime and the sun was setting at like 5:30. And I was like, bro, what the fuck, it's 40 degrees to set at 5:30. What like, didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, like the daylight is very, very consistent. But one thing I will say as well, just from again, like living in Dubai, if we're comparing it from England to Dubai, a lot of people will relate to me on this one. In my opinion, we all get slightly depressed in the winter because like I got here literally last night, obviously traveling back and now kind of settling. And through October, November, December, January and February, without a shadow of a doubt, when I was in England, my mood was lower, my energy was lower, I felt more frustrated, my performance was worse, my concentration was worse. Literally 48 hours in the sun, everything feels a million times better. So if you are thinking, oh, you know, how's that going to affect me? This is like literally, I think my 6th time coming here now, and I'll track these things just to keep notes. If you're moving to a different country, you want to like know this shit, like really know it. Within 48 hours. Like, yeah, great, it's luxury and you can save taxes and, you know, the food's good and the gyms are sick and people are respectful and everyone's entrepreneurial and all of these different things. And I'll run through some of the negatives of Dubai in this video as well. But for me, it's just the sun. Just the sun, every fucking day the sun. It's just so nice to be out here and have that, you know? Like you can't beat that. And a lot of people think Spain. But bro, like one of our staff members, Matt, he's in Spain at the moment. He's in Marbella. He's been in Marbella for a whole month. And everyone thinks, oh my God, Spain's amazing. Da, 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 da. Spain's beautiful, man. Spain's really, really beautiful. But it's not nearly as sunny as you think it is. Like, Spain's kind of similar to England. Like, you get a lot of sun, a lot of heat during the summer. But think about it, like, when was the last time you went to Spain in January or February? You don't really, do you? So, like, these countries are not as hot as you think that they would be. Whereas here, it's nice and steady. One thing I will say though, peak summertime here, yeah, fucking hot, man. So hot. Now, I'm going to talk about a woman's perspective and a man's perspective. And before anyone says anything, I've literally had 3 of my friends who are girls say this to me, so don't shoot the messenger. A lot of girls who are single love coming to Dubai because they know there are a lot of men in Dubai who are high value, aka they got the shit together, career's going well, they're earning good money, looking after their body. I love how I say that, looking after their body. Like, if you move from a foreign country to Dubai, 99% of the time, you're entrepreneurial, you're running your own business, you want to build something better for yourself, and that's what you're here to do. So a lot of women who are single will come here, and again, don't shoot the messenger. I've had multiple people tell me this. Not just for men, obviously, because that would just be dumb, but it's like another box ticked, right? Something to bear in mind with that, because a lot of people live very fast-paced lives, it can almost become keeping up with the Joneses. And what I mean by keeping up with the Joneses is, it's very, very easy to get caught in kind of like comparison in Dubai. And I personally believe, people saying about things being toxic, you can create toxicity within yourself. It's got nothing to do with everyone else. This is on you, mate. You can create that within yourself if every morning you wake up and go, right, he's got a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari. He's got huge arms, I want huge arms. He's earning loads of money, I want to earn loads of money. It's great to have inspiration, but if your whole life is based around looking at what other people have and what you don't have, you know, think of it this way, right? When we set goals, we say, I want, I need. When was the last time where you sat down and wrote, I have? No one fucking does that. No one sits there and goes, I have this, I have this, I have that, I have that. And you look at the list and go, fucking hell, my life is sick. No one does it. So in Dubai, be very, very, very careful with the dating scene. This goes for guys and girls, that you're not just trying to like chase your tail and trying to like be bigger and better and bolder and more money and this and this and this, because it'll burn you out. It'll burn you out, you know? I think as soon as you move out here, a lot of people, it's incredibly competitive. I love that shit. But the reason I love it, and we were talking about this off camera earlier, is because I've traveled so much by myself. I've spent so much time by myself. I've done so many things by myself and actually lived by myself, that because I've become a lot more self-aware, I've recognized that a few years ago, that was me. I want to be like that guy. I want to look like him. I want to feel like him. I want to have his money. I want to have his car. Fuck that, man. Like, I'm just me. Do you know what I mean? I'm just George at the end of the day. And I'm just trying to be the best version of me that I can be. And that level of competition can thrive in an environment like this. Only if you focus on what you actually want and want to create. So let me go back to the dating scene. If you are going to be dating out here, understand people are busy. People are busy. People are doing shit. People are working on themselves. It's quite normal on weekends out here for people just to work. However, what I will say, it's probably one of the best places in the world to meet people. Funnily enough, I actually met my girlfriend out here. I literally came away within 3 days. Wow, hello. Incredible. Literally went for breakfast, there she was. We started talking. Literally a few days go past. Jobs are good, but that's a story for another time. But my point is, like, if you get yourself out there, absolutely. But if you live the stereotypical entrepreneurial lifestyle, which is wake up, work, come gym, go back, work, Deliveroo, of course you're not going to meet anyone. You have to get yourself out of your comfort zone. We'll walk over here and talk while we're doing this, but essentially, guys, like, I think I'll do like one more back movement, but essentially, guys, the key to this that I'm saying, like with the dating scene, hell of a lot of opportunity, but one of the most amazing things about Dubai is how easy it is to network and make friends. So you have to just do that, just reach out to people. Like some of the YouTube content that you've seen from me so far, I literally just sent a DM. Hey mate, love your stuff, would love to get you on YouTube, love to get you on a podcast. Just send the fucking DM, shoot the shot. So many people are scared of being rejected nowadays. It's because you've got an ego. I'm saying that because I used to have a massive ego. I used to think I was the fucking guy. Don't get me wrong, I'm confident in myself, but I recognize when I'm acting out of ego and just acting out of just being a human being. But the reason you don't send that message is because of your ego. I don't want to be rejected, man. fuck it, man, send 10. If 8 people say no, so what? 2 people say yeah. Sick, man, let's meet up. Let's train, let's eat, let's shoot the shit. You know, I've now got a phone, not to brag, I've now, you know, my WhatsApp's now full of people who are salespeople, mentors, marketing guys, crypto guys, AI guys, coaches, just because I fucking sent the message. That's all you need to do. Stop being so afraid of people saying no to you or rejecting you or ghosting you or not messaging you back. It's because you're insecure, okay? I was insecure, we're all insecure. I've still got insecurities now. I wish my arms were bigger. They're fine, but we all got fucking insecurities, mate, do you know what I mean? So just shoot the fucking shot. So yeah, dating, you have to get yourself out there. You have to talk to people. You have to be okay with the fact that whether you're dating a girl or a girl's dating a guy, if you're living in Dubai, both of you are probably going to be more focused on your career than you are on them. So try not to get too caught up in that hamster wheel, otherwise you'll fucking lose your shit. And another random nugget of dating advice, just because I've just learned a lot over the years. Please, if you're going to be coming out here and dating, don't let that detract from what you're actually here to do. If you're here to work and you're here to grow an empire, work and grow an empire. From a man's perspective, from a girl, if you put your goals to one side for a girl, I'm telling you now, she will not respect you for that. She'll tell, oh my God, this is amazing, wow, I appreciate it so much. Bro, she doesn't respect you for that. She doesn't. She wants you to work on your shit. She wants you to earn your money. She wants you to have goals and ambitions and drive and fucking build for your future. One of the most attractive traits from a female perspective to a male is you having your shit together and you like having a goal and being like, this is what I'm fucking doing, man. Because if you don't, you're a child. You're a child that just gets distracted by here, there and everywhere. Oh look, there's a fucking party going on, let's go there. Oh wow, there's a beach club and there's gonna be loads of girls there, let's go. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. If I go to your explore page right now and I click on the explore button and it's full of girls, bro, you're a fucking neek. I'm sorry, but you are. Like, what the fuck is that? You know? You've got an amazing opportunity to work on yourself, and this one putting out content like this to try and help you and inspire you and help you like make these changes in your life. But you know, if you're going to be looking at the dating scene out there, don't be scrolling through Instagram all day, every single day, like, oh yeah, wow, she's fit, oh yeah, amazing, let me slide into her. Then fuck that, man. Go out and meet people, speak to people in person, communicate with them. So the sick thing about this gym, guys, is like you can literally come to the gym, you got the mad equipment you've just seen upstairs, you can come downstairs afterwards. Most really good gyms do not have a sauna and a steam room. This has a huge sauna, as you can see, and a huge steam room next doors. And what we're gonna go out to in a moment as well is the pool. Realistically, depending on what your day looks like, I could genuinely imagine coming here for a weekend, grabbing a meal, chilling, watching some football, going to the gym, coming downstairs, doing this, jumping in the pool and recovering. Like, you could literally spend half a day here. It's fucking mental. So that's one massive perk I find from Dubai, is, like I said at the start of the video, everything is set up for convenience. I wouldn't say this is the standard for all gyms in Dubai because that would be crazy, but in fairness, a lot of gyms you do go to will have things like this. Maybe not to this degree, but you know, whether it be an ice cold plunge, whether it be saunas, whatever, they really, well, there is a huge market for health and fitness out here. So I think, you know, as an online coach, it's literally just a playground. So if the sauna wasn't enough, they've also got a massive steam room. I think I've just let about half of the steam out of this place, but yeah, they certainly know how to do recovery in this place. Let's put it that way. You can see it beckoning out. But yeah, honestly, this place, guys, you can even set it, or you can see what the temperature is. Before we open that door, I believe it got up to 55 degrees, and we've opened the door for a few minutes. It's gone down to that, but as you can see, it's dropping. Right, let's show you the pool outside. Yeah, if this is England, this would be absolutely rammed. But it's Dubai, so it's not. One thing I'm going to say, right, I promise I'm not getting any like commission for this, but over the last 5 years, Dubai has slowly got busier and busier. I think it's only going to get busier. A mistake that I've got, if I'm being completely honest, when people ask about regrets, I don't really have any regrets, but I do have one. And that's that I didn't move here 2 years ago, because there's more buildings going up every single week. House properties are going up every single week. There's new gyms like this being thrown up left, right and centre. And I personally believe, I mean, where are we now, 2025? I can honestly see by like 2050, it almost being like the norm that you get into your 20s, you start doing quite well for yourself and you start to look at moving over this way. Now, people said to me, aren't you going to be lonely in Dubai? Genuinely, which is mad to say out loud, I honestly think I now have more friends in Dubai than I do in England. One, no, I'm only kidding. Whenever I say that to people, they're like, one. No, but I actually do. Like, I'd say in England, I've probably got, I don't know, 2, 3 friendship groups. Out here, insanely, even though barely been out here, probably got like 4 or 5. And that's not just because I'm just like, oh yeah, Mr. Popular, but
Everyone who's into health and fitness is here. Seriously. Not to make you feel like FOMO at home if you're thinking about it, but if you're an online coach and you like the sun and you like training, networking, eating good food, it's fucking heaven.
So like realistically, the cool thing about like, obviously, what's it like to live in Dubai? So at the moment it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So UK time that would be 12, 11, 10. So it's 9 AM in the UK, right? Now at this point, I've done 2 hours of work specific on the business. I've done 1 hour of work, kind of like team management, these kind of things. And all of my clients have been either messaged, responded to, spoken about, like we've set them up. Plus we've trained, plus we've had a sauna and a steam and a swim. By the time we get back, we'll get back at like, I don't know, and then at that given point, let's say like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we've done business specific work, team specific work, client specific work, we've taken consultation calls, we've taken catch up calls, we've trained in the gym, we've been out in the sun, we've been to a swim. And this is why I love setting it up this way, because you know, it allows me then to do all the things that are important for moving the business forward and moving me forwards. Then when I'm back, I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling good, I can go and kind of look after the guys that are kind of based over that side of the world. So yeah, I think like in terms of setting your routine up for success, that's why I like waking up early. Because what I could do is I could be one of these like night owls and then almost like play to the UK structure, but I've completed half of my working day, and in England it's 9 o'clock in the morning and I've trained. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like for me personally, like if you're getting up early in the morning and doing it that way, you're always going to be onto something, you know. And at like particularly busy times of the year or of work or whatever, you know, I'm not afraid of waking up at 4:30 if I need to, which I don't expect you guys to copy me, but if I was waking up at 4:30, if I was doing 3 hours of work on the business, like copy, emails, all that kind of stuff, you know, you're doing half of a working day and training and moving the business forwards before you've woken up. What's not to love about that? So yeah, that's probably the best gym I've ever trained in. In fact, it is the best gym I've ever trained in. Unreal. Look at this, look. Okay guys, so if you are thinking of moving to Dubai, I'm just going to like quickly go through a checklist of some of the things that we mentioned. So if you're looking to get a property in Dubai, if you went out into the desert and you're paying rent, if you're living about a 20 to 30 minute drive from the seafront, rent-wise, you're going to be probably looking for like a 2-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom house, anywhere between kind of like 1.4k up to about 2k per month, which I believe is actually fairly reasonable. If you are going to be going for somewhere that's going to be like downtown or in the marina, that's probably going to be closer to like the 2.5k marker, and some are going to be costing more like 3. So like centrally here, surrounded by this, or centrally over in Marina, it's pretty much going to be London prices. In terms of savings on tax, if you're earning between about, well, if you're earning under 6 grand per month, in my opinion, the tax that you save will be balanced out by the cost of living. So it's pretty much going to be same. If, however, you're earning kind of like 7, 8, 9 plus, like that kind of 100k per year and above, you can save a lot more. And if you're someone who's earning kind of like $250,000 a year, etc., from that point onwards, the tax saving is like literally astronomical. So you can really see why the ultra wealthy want to set up here, because you can save a hell of a lot of money. In terms of transportation and stuff like that, it's pretty easy to get around. Unfortunately, it's not like London where trains are really easy, so I would recommend you drive. But for entrepreneurs, genuinely, I actually think it's not a bad idea to not get a car and just get Ubers around, because you can work from the back of the Uber. In terms of like commuting and stuff, you do have to be careful of cars, because people can drive pretty crazy at times. But you know, realistically, the petrol's super cheap. You can get it delivered to your house, and it's super convenient. In terms of food and eating out and things like this, groceries, of course, if you shop in the more expensive places, are going to be more expensive, but you can do it on a budget. The way that you do it on a budget is just actually avoiding all the things that you'd be eating in England, to be honest with you. Anything that's like branded from England or stuff like that, in my opinion, is insanely expensive. So you probably want to like tweak some of the things there. What you can do, most gyms do food preparation as well. So if you get food preparation in bulk, you can end up saving money that way. And again, it can be a lot more convenient. In terms of kind of like networking and things like that, a lot of people are usually up for doing things, up for meeting, up for becoming friends and networking and kind of creating opportunities there. Much the same with dating. But what I will say is very, very easy to get caught in how much money people are making, how successful someone is, or trying to keep up with the Joneses. So what I would really say, if you want to kind of move out to Dubai and be very happy living there, is just to ensure that you focus on your goals, you focus on yourself, and you focus on the reasons you are actually moving out here in the first place. So to kind of summarize with that, I think that if you are moving out here just for tax, I think that there should be more to it than that. But if you want to live a lifestyle where there's always stuff going on, it's always sunny, it's super safe, there's lots of things to do, incredible gyms, incredible food, really nice people, and a beautiful culture that's more future focused as opposed to past focused, then Dubai ultimately is for you. And I think that for a hell of a lot of coaches right now that may be listening to this, who are looking to really like grow and scale their business, before I was very skeptical of whether I think it would be a good choice. Now I'm absolutely dead set that if you are kind of getting towards your first 6-figure year, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer to at least consider moving out of here, because genuinely, and I really mean this, the opportunities out here are incredible. So really looking forward to living out here, guys. If you enjoyed content like this, then obviously just let me know. I can certainly, create a lot more, breaking down a lot more of the specifics of what needs to be done. In case you are kind of sat at the end of this video thinking, oh, okay, this sounds decent, but how do I go about that? Realistically, to actually set up a business in Dubai is going to cost you around about £7,000 in total to get everything sorted. Obviously sorting out Emirates IDs, closing down your bank account, setting up like a business bank account. Don't set up a personal, set up a business bank account. That's very important. Moving over Stripe payments and things like this. And in terms of the cost of living, in my opinion, if you want to move out here and have a decent quality of life, you probably want to be earning around about 3.5 to 4K per month. But of course, the more that you earn, the better quality of life you can have. If you're looking to live like centrally, like in the city, like in downtown in Marina and things like that, or even on the Palm, because that's going to be even more expensive, then you probably want to be earning a little bit more. You perhaps want to be earning kind of 6, 7, 8K per month in order to live a good quality of life. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.